It's another week and another race for the Dirt Street Stock Series, but all eyes continue to be focused on two men and two men only. Brandon Proudfoot and William Hargraves, the two Titans who continue to slug their way towards a championship crown. Both have been able to pull away from the rest of the pack, but neither have been able to distance themselves from one another in the championship standings. Welcome, everyone, to the seventh round of Season 10 for the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series. We are here tonight at virtual Fairbury Speedway in Livingston County, Illinois. My name is DJ Clark, and on behalf of the Virtual Grip Network, my partner here in the booth, Austin Belke, our director, Mike Yao, as well as everyone behind the scenes at VGN, we'd like to thank you for joining us here tonight. Fairbury is a tight circuit that has the feeling of an old-school bull ring, but Austin, how will these Dirt Street Talks take to it?
DJ, I think these cars are going to take to this track like a fish to water. It's really natural here. It's a tight track like you mentioned, but it really leads to a lot of old school racing where you kind of just, banging doors the entire night. This track is a quarter mile in length. You can see the different characteristics of the weather today. 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 60% humidity, partly cloudy. A bit of a windy day today, but that's just sort of what you get here in the Midwest. We'll go ahead and look at your championship, though.
Indeed, and in that championship, as we said, it is Brandon Proudfoot that is leading the way there up at the top with 448 points. You can see Hargraves just about 11 points behind him, and they're finally starting to distance themselves out from Billy Northcutt. Dan Stifler's still clinging on to fourth place, as is Sean Hayes, with Jim Revis, Chris Davis, and Andrew Clark there falling back down the order a little bit. Lon Franks, your winner as a result of a couple of rounds here as a result of not being in a few other rounds, is farther down the order. But tonight, Austin, we're going to be running some traditional dirt racing format, and for those who are unfamiliar with how things are going to work, why don't you walk us through it?
Yeah, for sure, DJ. So traditionally on dirt, you're going to have heat races. The heat races here are going to be 6 laps apiece with usually 6 cars included. 4 of them transfer to the feature event automatically. We don't invert anything here tonight. Then we're going to have a last chance qualifier. That's going to be 8 laps, and usually 4 cars are going to advance to the feature event from that, but it always depends on the field size, so that's just going to be my lawyer speech for tonight. The feature is going to be 40 laps. It's going to include 24 cars. You can score points in the qualifying, the heats, the B-main, and the feature. And, of course, we're going to line up in the heats based on how we did in qualifying, which we're going to have start in just a couple minutes, and talk to our in-race reporter, Steven Spees. Going to be real nice to talk to him. Very knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, very knowledgeable, very good guy. But let's bring you to some of the action happening out on track right now as drivers are in the midst of a 20-minute practice session. We follow Jackie Whaley here in that 720 machine. He's currently in 7th as he works his way, ripping the high line around here in Austin. Normally, that seems to be one of the preferred ways to get around Fairbury, especially with the big, nasty tractor tires down to the inside.
Yeah, DJ, those tractor tires are very ominous. They're quite menacing. If you hit one of those the wrong way, it's going to spin you out. It's going to almost certainly rip off the front fascia from this car, ruin your night completely. Sometimes you can even get beached on those things, so you try to socially distance yourself from those as if they have COVID, but I would not be too surprised if we don't see Brendan Proudfoot, some of the other dirt course ringers out here, get, within inches of those tractor tires on the bottom.
Speaking of Mr. Proudfoot, one of the big storylines we may be following here is the fact that he is not in the session quite yet, so that could be something big. But we watch here our sometimes reporter J.R. Shepard as he's going to bring that car down pit lane. JR's sitting pretty handy right now. He is currently in 13th. Jackie Whaley again working on a little bit mid lane here, and that probably not going to be as preferred here, Austin, is there's really some pretty progressive banking around this circuit.
Yeah, there is. And to be honest, DJ, even if there weren't progressive banking, with the kind of reinforcement you can get from the cushion, oftentimes right against the walls on a dirt track, even the high line on a completely flat track would be pretty good too. But what Jackie's doing right now, he's just trying to feel out the track. And just in case he's, starting on a restart, he's on the inside lane. He doesn't want to go all the way down to the bottom, because the closer you are to the bottom, the more you're having to turn the wheel. And of course, when you get the wheel turned that much, you have to be very ginger getting back on the throttle, because with the wheel clocked that much, any sort of throttle movement too much, too fast, is just going to whip the car around, and you can't have that. You need smooth throttle inputs to gradually feed power into the car, otherwise you're spinning your tires.
And spinning tires here, it will be a death knell as we watch Whaley trying to work around on a little bit of a lower line here, just kind of flirting around, trying to find things. And that's really one of the things that drivers want to do in this practice session. Remember, we will get a reset for qualifying in terms of track condition, that being the only time that we get a reset here tonight. And so a lot of drivers can use this practice session to just feel out how the track is going to evolve over the course of the night.
Yeah, that's right, DJ. You know, when everyone gets here right at 7 o'clock Eastern time, the track is fresh, 0% state. It's incredibly tacky everywhere. The grip is going to be right around the inside of the track, and then it gradually moves further towards the outside. If we had the camera out of the track a couple minutes ago, probably about 10 or 12 minutes ago, you'd see only tackiness and then a bunch of marbles out to the rest of the wall from about the middle of the track, right where John Wilson in that 75 car is running right now. That would be where you wanted to be. Eventually, as the night has gone on, the area you want to be, that tackiness would move up the track further and further and further until it'll be right by the wall. That's kind of where we are right now, so this is probably the most worn in the track is going to be. These guys obviously at some point going to wear in the top a bit more. Then the bottom line might come in, but obviously going to be a pretty top dominant track tonight.
Yeah, top dominance is going to be that key. Jeffrey Harden working his way around. And do not fear, fans of Brandon Proudfoot. He has been into the session here, so we will continue to see that championship challenge continuing on here. There is Jeffrey Harden in that 36, trying to work around Hayes in that fistful of water machine right now. Track just starting to play out, and yeah, there, Austin, you can see it with just how much space Harden is able to get that high line looking very, very strong.
Yeah, DJ, and I would just want to touch on this too. You know, we mentioned Brandon Proudfoot getting here pretty late. This is a real grueling schedule these guys have to do every single week, week in and week out. And sometimes, you know, life gets in the way, whether you have to miss a race like we saw J.R. Shepard do a couple times. Even Billy Northcutt, I think the reason he's so far down in the championship is just missing a single week. And that's, you know, what if that's a soccer practice for your kid or something, or maybe you just have to go to the doctors. You just want to do a night out on the town with your wife. And stuff like that always happens. There are no drop weeks here in BRL, so yeah, naturally you only get a couple off weekends per year. So sometimes it is just, you know, nice to take a week off from racing. Unfortunately, it means you're kind of out of contention for the championship, but that's just how it goes. That's just short track racing. But we look at Neville Alf here in the number 30 car, back to Ryan Seneker doing a great job again.
Yeah, Seneker here. Good to see him up in the field. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen Ryan running, so happy to see him up and working his way around right now, playing a little bit with that high line and coming very, very close to clipping that outside wall. Austin, I've got a real feeling we're going to see a lot of smacks into that wall tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan, one of the guys who, like I said, life gets in the way. He's been having to miss a bunch of races due to taking his son to football practice in the morning, sometimes the games in the evening. But, yeah, I saw Matt Shanoski kind of ride the wall. I've rode the wall here a couple times myself, that the upper line just kind of bites you. You don't realize it's coming, especially there out of turn 4 where there's the gap in the wall. That's going to hurt you.
All right, so the way the order stands right now, with about 30 seconds left to go in this practice session, is that's Brennan Myers, Hunter Hill, Sean Hayes, Brandon Proudfoot, and Jim Revis. Now, a particular note there is Brandon Proudfoot able to put in that quick of a time with the track as slicked in as it is. That has got to be a bit of a warning sign to a lot of these other competitors. I would be very, very scared if I were them. Good to see Revis there up at the top of the order. Your other championship hopeful, William Hargraves, back in 8th right now.
Yeah, that could just be, you know, what kind of line you can get sometimes if you glance off the wall just right. It'll take a fast time versus maybe Williams' time. He never glanced off the wall. You can't be glancing off the wall in the qualifying, though. It will give you 0x. It will discount your lap, so you won't be able to include it. But for practice, usually you can get away with a little bit of that. But speaking of qualifying, we're going to go right into qualifying, see how these guys line up, and then we'll get a chance to talk to our in-race reporter, Mr. Steven Spees.
We will indeed, and there you see Ryan Seneker just waiting to get going. I'm seeing the 719 bunch of cars starting to work their way out on track. Sean Hayes, Ryan Seneker, Jeffrey Harden, Brendan Myers, everybody's starting to come on out. Austin, do you think during qualifying here it's going to be high line preferred or low line preferred?
Honestly, DJ, I think it's going to be low line, but we'll have to see what these guys do. I feel like you're going to want to be as close to the bottom as possible, but looks like there is a lot of tackiness all the way out through the track, so he might be able to rip the high line here like Sean.
That's right. Hayes going to be working his way as hard as he can on that high line, waiting for these times to start coming in, and it's going to be Chris Davis provisionally on the pole. Sean Hayes able to pip him. Jeffrey Harden going to be in third. Lon Franks good enough for second. Best right here. I see Shinosky fifth. Hunter and Wilson down in the order. Neville Ulf, our overseas driver, is going to be good enough for P5. There comes across here, waiting for a couple of more times to get set. William Hargraves up into P3, and Matt Shinosky able to improve his time to P5.
Yeah, here's Jason Menda coming out on track. Jason's been someone who's been getting more and more consistent, better and better in these dirt street stock cars. You saw Matt Shinosky there for a quick second. Now we're looking back at, I believe that is the 720 car, I think. No, we got rid of him. That'd be Dan Stifler, I think, at that 071. But now we're back with Chris Davis doing a great job here tonight. Very aggressive. Mr. Aggressive, I like to call him, due to the moves he typically makes. Currently fastest right now for 7th on the board is his fastest lap. Going to look at Chris Hill in that 05 car right now. He's doing a pretty good job himself.
Yes, he is. Hill in that 05 is waiting to put a time on the board, so we'll have to see where he gets in. He rips around that high line. Hayes, Hill, Harden, Hargraves, Franks, all your fastest drivers. And that man right there on your screen, that is Steven Spees, who we are going to bring up into the booth as our in-race reporter. Steven, how is the track feeling out there tonight?
I thought it felt all right, but I'm just looking at my time right now. I think I might be in trouble, though, so I think we got some work to do.
Steven, originally when the cars came out here, I figured it'd be a low-line dominant track, but I guess a lot of these guys are going right up near the wall. Is that kind of what you felt out so far, or are you going to try and make the bottom line work?
Yeah, historically at this track, it generally, in these cars, the bigger cars, it's going to run up around the wall. That's definitely, I was trying things in practice, and I mean, it's half a second slower to run the bottom. Most of the time. So, you know, I think we're going to be on the wall. It may be exciting to watch. It's going to be hard to pass. Could get interesting. And there's a lot of dust up there, too, which doesn't make it easy for us guys that are going to be at the back.
Steven, we saw a lot of cars getting really close to the wall, some even riding it. Is it pretty treacherous to be up by the wall because you could wall ride like at some other tracks, or is it really you only get up there if you do something majorly wrong?
No, I think you got to get up there and get that right side on whatever cushion's there. So, you know, the guys that can run up there and kind of run close to it without bouncing off of it, it's going to, you know, it's an iRacing thing. It's going to let you put down a pretty quick time. I don't think people are doing it intentionally. It's just the way the line is here. Not my best place to drive, but I think that's where it's going to be. So we're going to give it a go.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for your time, Steven. Best of luck in the races. Probably gaining a lot of spots, I think. You're usually one of the faster guys.
Yeah, I tend to do better whenever I got a rabbit out there in front of me. So there's plenty of them. It's going to look like in the heat race. So it should be interesting.
All right, well, thank you, Steven. That is Steven Spees, driver of the 55 machine. And as we look over this order, I gotta say here, Austin, there are some pretty surprising drivers mixed around through the field. Hayes and Menda 1-2, another great performance out of Menda. Brandon Proudfoot only good enough for P3 as we watch him working his way around here right now. William Hargraves back in 7th, Lon Franks in 8th, Chris Davis 11th, J.R. Shepard back in 13th.
Yeah, right. You see Brendan Proudfoot on your screen right now. I think using the rest of his qualifying laps, you see him getting really, really close to those tractor tires. Like I mentioned, he enjoys doing earlier in the broadcast. I think this is just him practicing that lower line right now just to kind of get a feel for it. I have to imagine he's already used up most of his laps at this point, but huge surprise out of Jason Menda for sure. Sean Hayes has been a faster guy. We've seen a lot of speed out of him recently, but Jason Menda really putting it to these dirt guys. I would say he's definitely more of an asphalt guy, really talented on asphalt. So, but anyways, that's the end of qualifying. We'll get right into your heat number 1 starting lineup.
And remember, these are some bigger heat races, some changes going into the scheduling here. So it's going to be Sean Hayes lining up in pole position, followed by Brandon Proudfoot. Jason Best will be third, followed by William Hargraves, with Kevin Moody and Chris Davis rounding out your top 6.
J.R. Shepard starts in 7th, with Stacy Hunter starting to his outside in 8th. Chris Hill lines up 9th, with Neville Ulf completing your top 10. Jim Rivas starts in 11th spot, followed by Bobby Hayes in 12th.
A lot of very, very fast drivers here in this opening heat here, Austin. I'm looking at Proudfoot, Best, Hargraves, Davis, Shepard, Revis. This is going to be an absolutely cracking race, and especially considering only the top 4 will advance.
Yeah, I'm really surprised just how many fast guys we have overall in the league now that can really take it to the fast guys every single week. I mean, Hayes, Proudfoot, Hargraves, Best, Davis, Moody, Shepard, even all the way down to Rivas. I mean, so many fast guys in this league now that it's so much more competitive it is today than it was when I was racing in this series a couple seasons ago.
It is indeed, but the pace truck pulls off to the side here, waiting on Sean Hayes. He'll be starting on the high line, and he gets on the loud pedal. That's a bad start for Proudfoot. Hargraves immediately going to jump up to try to take that position around the outside. Proudfoot being forced down to the low line. Chris Davis going to try some momentum there, and now Proudfoot finally able to slot into position back in P4 as we get around for the first lap.
Yeah, it was a really good thing Proudfoot was able to get back up into that high line. Otherwise, he was going to be freight trained if he couldn't get back up there in front of Jason Best, because there's only 4 cars advancing from this race through into the feature. So if he didn't do that, he probably was going to fall to at least a 5th position, maybe even worse than that, and have it all to make up from there. But we come across the start-finish line to complete lap 2. Now on to lap 3. Still Sean Hayes out front, doing a great job.
Yeah, Hayes doing a very, very good job, but he's having to fend off a pretty stiff assault here from William Hargraves, who's all over the back of him. Also, don't count out Jason Best here in that 47 machine, running in 5th place right now, but here is Hargraves, who right on board with the left front tire there. Big contact into the wall for Sean Hayes.
Yeah, I hit the outside wall pretty hard. If I'm Hayes or Proudfoot right now, I'm watching my rear view mirror just to make sure that there's no slide job being thrown on me right here with 1 or 2 laps to go, because the less opportunities there are to pull a slide job back is when that slide job is going to happen on you. You see Best looking for it right now. Not going to happen in the turns 1 and 2, but it might down here in turns 3 and 4 to either Hayes or Proudfoot.
And here comes Proudfoot trying to throw one, as does Chris Davis. Both of them throwing the slider, but it's going to be Sean Hayes that takes victory, followed by William Hargraves. Chris Davis and Brandon Proudfoot will automatically advance to that feature race. Everybody else going to have to go back and get their finishing orders sorted out in the LCQs. Let's bring you through the official finishing order there of that fast and furious first heat race there. I said Hayes, Hargraves, Davis, Proudfoot automatically advancing. The first drivers having to go to the B mains will be Best and Moody.
Yeah, Neville Ulf going to finish in the 7th position, followed by J.R. Shepard in 8th. Chris Hill finishes 9th. Bobby Hayes rounds out your top 10. Stacy Hunter finishes in 11th, and Jim Rivas rounds out the field.
And that's going to bring us right into our second heat race here tonight. That's going to be Jason Menda leading off in pole position, followed by Hunter Hill, Jeffrey Harden, and Lon Franks. Dan Stifler will be 5th, and Matt Shanoski will round out the first half of the field.
John Wilson lines up 7th with Jackie Whaley in 8th. Steven Spees starts 9th, and Brendan Myers rounds out the top 10. Ryan Seneker going to line up tail end Charlie.
All right, well, Austin, it looked like that high line was the super dominant one, and I think for Hunter Hill, that's going to be a little bit of a scary notion here. Both he and Lon Franks are going to want to try to move up as soon as they can. Harden, they're going to want to move up as soon as they can. They do not want to be caught out on that low line. But the pace truck scampers off, and Jason Menda has control of the field, running it up against that outside wall, waiting to get on the loud pedal. And there he is. It's a late start from him. He's going to pull Lon Franks along with him there. Hunter Hill trying to find that area to slide in. Looks like Stifler's going to have a good run coming up from 5th place on the grid. He's going to move his way by in the 94. That's Shanoski now with a good run.
Yeah, heck of a good start by Matt Shanoski there, already up into 3rd position. You look at the slide job there from, looks like Lon Franks on Jason Menda to take the lead. Jason sees it coming, crosses him back over, is on the lower line now, does a slide job back in front of him. Lon Franks come down to cut him off. This is a great battle. Of course, Matt Shanoski's here just to take advantage of anyone making any foul moves.
Exactly, Shinosky.
Oh, Shinosky was so close to taking away P2 right there.
Yes, he was very close indeed. Shinosky trying to poke his nose this way and that, but he's got to watch out behind him because Stifler is also looking very threatening. In the back of the field, we are too wide between Wilson and Seneca, but that's not concerning us right now because we have got our eyes focused here on the P2 machine of Lon Franks as they work their way around here to start lap 5.
Yeah, Jason Mendes doing a heck of a job out front, almost kind of gapping Lon Franks for a while there. I think it's kind of just line dependent. I'm not too worried about slide jobs in this race because we saw Proudfoot pull one. Didn't really do a whole lot unless we were right on someone's rear bumper. In fact, Stifler just lost a position there to Hunter Hill. It's going to relegate him all the way back into 5th.
Yes, it is, but up front, Jason Menda trying to hold off a little bit of a slide job from Lon Franks as they come across the line, and it is checkered flag for Jason Menda here in the second heat race. Lon Franks will be P2, followed by Shinosky and Hill automatically advancing.
Yeah, great job from both those drivers. Jason Menda especially, taking it to the really fast guys. We'll go ahead and look at your drivers that did not advance. The first one of those, Dan Stifler, finishes 5th. Jeffrey Harden in 6th. Steven Spees came home 7th. Brendan Myers finishes 8th. Jackie Whaley, John Wilson round out your top 10. Ryan Sineker plumb last.
All right, and that's going to lead us directly into the C main here, and it looks like because of the running order, all drivers will be able to advance from this, so this is just going to determine the starting order for the A main. But in first position, it will be Jason Best, Kevin Moody to his outside, with Neville Ulf and J.R. Shepard there in P4.
Chris Hill rounds out the top 5. Bobby Hayes lines up 6th, and Stacy Hunter lines up in 7th.
All right, Austin, it is high line, but we did get to see some slide jobs getting thrown around there. Does that maybe present ourselves for some pretty interesting racing as the night goes along?
Yeah, for sure. We've seen just how prominent it is and good to use it in certain situations. Obviously, it really just depends on how good the guy on your outside is, especially in that high line. But we'll have to see how these guys do here.
Will indeed, as everybody gets off and going. Looks like Kevin Moody did not grid there, so something wrong for the 44. Not sure, we'll have to figure that one out later. Jason Best, to the surprise of nobody, he is going to choose that outside line.
Yeah, honestly, that outside line is where you want to be. I think if you're on the inside line, you have to absolutely nail the start and be clear of the guy to your outside before you even make it into turn 1. You might be able to throw a slider if you are the leader and force the start down there, but with control of these restarts, you want to be on the outside.
And speaking of control of the restarts, Jason Best taking control of the field as the pace truck scampers away. He is on the loud pedal early, a big lead. He's going to pull J.R. Shepard along with him there. Neville Wolf, the Australian-New Zealand driver, trying to get it, but gets into a little bit of contact there with Bobby Hayes. Everybody able to be pointed the same way.
Yeah, that was really close contact there. J.R. Shepard hounding Best for the moment, but honestly, with how hard it is and the fact that all these guys make the field, I wouldn't expect anything too egregious out of anyone for the moment. But yeah, that was a really, really sketchy situation between Ulf and Hill.
Ooh, and that looked like Chris Hill there getting a big clobber into the wall, but up front it continues to be Shepard trying to chase down Jason Best. That gap holding at about 2 car lengths as they work their way down the backstretch right now. J.R. Shepard just trying to see what he can do.
Yeah, at this point, you're just trying to see if you can hold serve with the guy in front of you, especially when you know that there's this kind of pace differential here. Not to mention, if you do go for a slider, you have to make it work, and it's really only going to work if you're right on the rear bumper of the guy in front of you. So you have to catch him by using the same line he is. That's the only way you can make up time here, unless you're just faster and there's a better line elsewhere. But with how good the high line is ripping right now, you kind of have to use that to catch the guy, then duck out of line, pull a slider, and it has to be a hay-making slider. Otherwise, you're never going to clear the guy.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you can see that cushion starting to move farther and farther up the track there. That's going to get sketchy and sketchier as the night goes along. A little bit of connection issues there for J.R. Shepard, but it does look like he's closing into the back of Jason Best as we cross over here. Only 2 laps to go in this C-Main.
Yeah, that's right, DJ, but especially if Shepard catches Best. There's also Ulf catching Shepard, so this battle for the podium here in the C-Main getting extremely close.
Yes, it is. 1 lap to go. White flag in the air. Here they come, coming out of turn through 2, diving down into 3. Ulf throwing a little bit of a defensive slider there. Is that going to give Shepard any momentum? No, not enough. It will be Jason Best, J.R. Shepard, Neville Alt, Chris Hill, Bobby Hayes, and Stacy Hunter. Kevin Moody with those connection issues at the beginning. He will finish 7th and still make it into the main show.
Yeah, it did give JR quite the boost coming off the turn, but it just wasn't enough to kill the momentum, especially with the lead he had. He just did that kind of defensive thing, the same thing we saw Proudfoot do in his heat. Basically, just take the slider line to make sure that no one else can get underneath you and pull the slider, especially have a decent enough lead. They're never going to be able to make the run to your outside. But we'll go ahead and get you your B main starting order.
Exactly, and in that B main, it's going to be Dan Stifler, who looked very, very quick in the heat races. He'll be lining up in pole position, followed by Jeffrey Harden, with our very own Steven Spees in P3 and Brendan Myers P4.
Jackie Whaley lines up in the 5th position, with John Wilson lining up in 6th. Ryan Seneker and Jim Rivas complete your row 4.
All right, Austin, highline. That story has not changed, and I was a little surprised we didn't see a couple more sliders get thrown there in that first LCQ.
Well, you know, with everyone making the field, there really is no huge advantage to pulling just a haymaking slider on someone like that, especially when they can just pull one right back on you. Not to mention, we really didn't see any large pace differential. At a place like this, you're really only going to catch a guy if you're a lot faster than him, and vice versa, so you're really only going to pull a slider if something like that happens.
All right, Dan Stifler taking control of the field. Harden to his inside. Spees and Myers behind them, waiting for the green flag to fly, and there goes Stifler. Good start for him. Brendan Myers trying to capitalize here to see if he can get to the outside. I think there may have been a little bit of contact there between him and Jeffrey Harden. Harden falling back. It looks like Spees trying to make things work down to the inside. Not exactly working out, trying to hold off the advances of John Wilson. There's a little bit of a slider there for Steven Spees, but Harden and Wilson able to box him in and keep him down on the low side.
Yeah, for sure. Jeffrey Harden was just trying to get up into the high line. He knows what it's going to do to your momentum if you are on the inside. That's what Steven Spees is trying to do right there as well. Unfortunately for Steven and Jackie right now, them being on the inside. Whoa, we've got a car sideways. That's John Wilson being spun by Jim Rivas. Ryan Seneker, just an unfortunate bystander, couldn't get the car basically pointed in the right direction to avoid that accident, but still Dan Stifler out front.
Indeed, Stifler continues to lead from Brennan Myers there. Myers just trying to close in on the back. Harden doing a good job of not letting anything go too crazy here. And it looks like as they go around halfway to get that halfway point, Myers is closing. Myers has got some speed here, specifically coming off 3 and 4.
Yeah, Myers is showing a lot of speed in the last couple laps here. He's actually caught the rear end of Dan Stifler. You see him looking for the slide job right now, testing out the inside, not going to work. He has to be real careful, get up to that high line, make sure he doesn't let Jeffrey Harden get to his outside. He did a fantastic job doing that, but now he has to run Dan down again. I don't know if that just wasn't enough commitment to the slide job or there just isn't enough grip down there to make it happen, but obviously he was right on his tail. Now he has a half a second deficit to Dan Stifler.
Yeah, it just looked like that 25 sort of stalled out midway through the corner there as he attempted to throw the slider. Working their way now through 3 and 4. Mid-corner and corner entry. It looks like that 25 is good, but he's definitely losing some speed on corner exit. White flag in the air, though, for Dan Stifler as they work their way through the final 2 corners in the B main. Here comes Stifler, diving off the corner just a little bit. It's going to be Stifler, followed by Myers, Harden, Spees. Waiting a minute here for Whaley, Seneker, and Wilson to come back across.
Yeah, fantastic job by all those drivers. Unfortunately, though, for Jim Rivas, I don't believe he makes the show. We were only going to take the top 7 cars from that, so Rivas not making the show.
Bit of a shame there for Jim Revis, the Jim Revis Esports driver. Bit hard there for him, but now it is time for everybody to come out on track for this 5-minute warm-up session in between, and that is going to give us another chance to bring our in-race reporter Steven Spees up to talk with us in the booth. Steven, it looks like it is high lane all here today.
Yeah, I think we're going to be stuck up on the wall all night. I'm hoping with this warm-up here we can all get up top and really burn that cushion off and maybe have some middle and low lane that'll be racy, but we'll see.
Steven, it looks like all you guys, if you don't end up burning down the cushion like you want, you guys are pretty much only going to be up top the rest of the race. Is there any advantage, you think, to trying out the low line, or is it pretty much just a lost cause at this point?
So far tonight, lost cause. All you can do is if you see a little bit of a gap between the two cars in front of you, you can kind of try to force a slider in there and see if you can just put your nose in there. But that's a pretty dangerous proposition here because, I kind of had to do it there in that B feature. Just slide it up there and park it in front of a guy because that wall comes up fast and they've got some momentum and, hopefully there'll be some give and take tonight, though.
Stephen, we've seen a couple guys, I'm sure you were watching with us, Brendan Proudfoot, at least in his heat, he did kind of a defensive slider line where he kind of went towards the bottom of the track. He lost a lot of time. How much time do you think you lose pulling a slide job like that?
Like I said, if you can slide up into a hole, you're all right. If you have to cut it, to that mid-track at all, yeah, I mean, you're just dead and you're probably going to get freight trained and just watch a lot of guys drive by you.
Steven, if you're a lap down car like some of the slower cars in the field, obviously you're cracking the top 10 just on raw pace here. But if you're one of the last guys out there and the leaders come up to you, are you going to hold your line up top? Do you expect that from the slower guys, or do you expect them, to be given the top?
Yeah, I think usually in BRL here, guys are pretty good. You're not racing for a win, and guys see what's coming and they'll kind of move out of the way. I know that if I end up back there, and I see the guys, I don't want to mess with their race. I'll just get down on the slow line and let them go, and hopefully that'll be the courteous way to do it, and it'll put on a good show for everyone.
For sure. Steven, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to warming up the track, hopefully burning off that cushion to give us some more exciting racing.
Let's hope so. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Once again, that was Steven Spies, our in-race reporter and the driver of the 55. So, Austin, I mean, it looks like there's a lot of question marks here about if and when that cushion can burn off to maybe get us some really good side-by-side racing. But right now, it's going to be pretty interesting. We've got very quick drivers at the top of this warm-up session who are going to be starting farther back in the field.
Yeah, certainly. You look at some other guys that were extremely fast in their heat races, like Matt Shanoski, only 19th quickest right now on the timing sheets, and he's someone that we saw be really fast, but now is slowed down all of a sudden. I have to believe that's because he's been running the inside line all the time. I was looking at Matt on the broadcaster on my own screen here. He was trying out that bottom line just in case he were forced down there in the race. You look at John Wilson, another one of those guys trying out the inside line for the moment, so it's not, I don't think it's, just a matter of when. I think it's if, but I do know for certain if the bottom line does become competitive, the first guy going to try it out is that guy right there that just hit the tire. Hopefully he doesn't do that in the race for his sake, but Brendan Proudfoot usually one of the best at, running that low line inches away from the tires.
For sure, and I think also if that low line comes in, we got to watch out for Steven Spies. Spies is known for wanting to run that low line a lot. He doesn't like wall riding as much. Well, it's a quick lap around here, so let's go ahead and play our favorite game of Who You Got a little bit early. Austin, who you liking in today's race?
Jason Menda. I'm picking Jason. He showed a lot of speed earlier today. He's been getting faster and faster over time. Got to go with Jason. It's a little bit of an underdog, so I'll give you the rest of the field.
Well, I think I'm going to go with Hargraves here today. He looked pretty strong, he was able to make a couple of moves early on in the race. That is a good one to be able to keep an eye on. I think it's a little bit of a sleeper pick, though. It feels weird to call him a sleeper, but Brendan Proudfoot as well, always one you can never, ever count out. But we have 1 second, and there the clock ticks over as we get ready to go racing here for the A main event in the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series, live from the virtual Fairbury Speedway. We'd like to bring you that starting grid right now as we pull it up. It's going to be Sean Hayes starting in pole position, followed by your pick, Jason Menda, with William Hargraves and Lon Franks behind them. Chris Davis will be P5, followed by Matt Shanoski with Brandon Proudfoot and Hunter Hill in P8, and Jason Best P9 with Dan Stifler rounding out your top 10.
J.R. Shepard's going to line up 11th with Brennan Myers to his outside in 12th. Lining up in 13th is Neville Ulf from Australia. In 14th is Jeffrey Harden. 15th is Chris Hill with our in-race reporter Steven Spies lining up in 16th. Bobby Hayes starts 17th with Jackie Whaley to his outside in 18th. 19th is going to be Stacy Hunter, followed by Ryan Seneker starting 20th. Rounding out the field is Kevin Moody and John Wilson.
And one note here that is going to change things up massively is that Sean Hayes has been given a penalty from the previous round. He will start at the back of the field, so that is really going to change things up. That means Hargraves will now be starting on the inside of row 1.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, all it does is going to go ahead and move every single person up. And I think what they did there is because neither driver really earned that front row starting spot. Jason Menda is going to get to start on the outside, so he doesn't get to choose his lane. He's just going to inherit that. And of course, that also means William Hargraves inherits the front row too. But we're going green, DJ.
And there is the green flag out, and Menda gets a good start. Lon Franks trying to work on the high side there. You can see Hargraves trying to make it work. A little bit of contact there behind. That was the 94 of Matt Shanoski getting a little bit sideways. We're almost too wide at the back, but up front, it is 1, 2, 3 between Menda, Franks, and Hargraves. Proudfoot already up 3 positions trying to challenge.
Yeah, more contact in the back between Stacy Hill and Matt Shanoski. Matt just hanging on to the outside, getting real slideways off turn 2 that time. To his inside is J.R. Shepard. J.R.'s one of those guys really good at running the middle of the track. You look just behind him, Dan Stifler in the 71, knocking on the back door, Matt Shanoski.
Yes, he is. That's Brendan Myers.
Cars turn around on the front stretch. One of those is Sean Hayes taking a bunch of damage. We're probably going to see this on the replay here. No caution, though. All the cars getting straightened out. Ryan Seneker, one of the drivers involved in this. Oh, leader sideways. Jason Menda sideways down the backstretch. Looks like he just got really sideways off turn 2. I think there were a couple slide jobs exchanged. Jason Menda just a little bit crossed up coming off turn 2 right there.
Yes, indeed, he was, and so this is going to promote Lon Franks into the lead of the race. Hargraves now in P2 with Proudfoot all over his tail as they try to get going around here. Chris Davis is up 1 position into P4 and Jason Best in P5. Menda down to P6 after that incident. Drivers continuing to work their way around here the best they can. They're about to come up on the back of Ryan Seneker, a slower lapped car as they start lap 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if Lon Franks was kind of ended up getting into the back of Jason Menda. We do have a caution here out on the Speedway. I saw Lon get kind of friendly with Jason's rear bumper there, so we'll have to see what this cause for caution here is in just a second. Wouldn't be too surprised if it involved Matt Shanoski, seeing him turned around down the back straightaway. We're going to get a replay of it right here, though.
It's Jackie Whaley in the 720. I think I saw him involved with the 94. There was contact there between Ulf and that 94 machine, and that sent them around. That was the cause for caution. You were right. That was Shanoski.
Yeah, it looks like he just got a little bit crossed up in the center of the turn there. Tried to get the car straightened up, and of course, when you do that, shoots the car down, and Jackie just had nowhere to go. You can't really get the car to stop that fast, and with how heavy these things are, it's just going to turn both of them sideways. But right now, we're looking at your leader, Lon Franks, doing a great job. Just behind him, though, some of the fastest guys in the league going to be Hargraves, Proudfoot, Davis, Best. Jason Menda still back there. Would not be too surprised if he had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
We're extending the caution out by 1 more lap here, waiting for the rest of the field to form back up behind him. Now, this is going to be important. Lon Franks starting to the outside, but as we saw in the opening start of this race, Hargraves can be very aggressive down to the inside should he want to be, and he's going to have Proudfoot directly behind him. I would be watching for Chris Davis here to make a good move. He'll be starting from that 4th place position in the preferred outside line, but here comes Lon Franks waiting to go green. He is on the loud pedal. He's able to catch out Chris Davis a little bit, or able to catch out Hargraves a little bit. Davis able to keep Proudfoot down to the low side. Hargraves able to find a slot to move his way up forward.
Yeah, most importantly, though, Brendan Proudfoot not able to find that slot. Crucially, for Hargraves, Chris Davis was caught sleeping a little bit, so Hargraves was able to slot back up in line. That, of course, with Proudfoot being shoveled back, moves Jason Menda up to 5th. Brandon Proudfoot was able to find a slot. He could slot back in right now, running in the 5th position. Thankfully for him.
Big clobber into the wall there for Jason Menda coming off of turn 4. He and Proudfoot going to make a little bit of contact. That is Hunter Hill coming up from behind. Proudfoot trying to go low as we've got another yellow flag out here.
Yeah, I think Matt Shanoski involved in this caution again. Matt having a really good time in his heat race. Not the best of luck, though, in the feature event. We'll get a replay here to see the cause for caution.
It looks like Stacy Hunter actually the one involved in it here. You see him getting very, very sideways. And there, catching out those infamous tires there. That was Sean Hayes, I believe, that was also caught up in it.
Yeah, Sean obviously given that EOL for his past races, infraction, kind of breaking the rules here. BRL has a very, very strict policy about being a clean racer and respecting the other drivers. So obviously he was handed that penalty. He had to start in the back, and we're seeing why you don't want to start in the back in any of these feature events, especially not here where it's so hard to pass. He's been involved in a couple accidents today, one that didn't cause a caution and that one that unfortunately for him did.
Waiting here, yep, we are going to get an extension of the yellow. The caution laps come here so very quickly. All right, so what this is going to do as we re-rack, though, is this means that Menda, after having that problem earlier and falling down the field, he is going to be starting in that preferred fourth place position, be able to move his way forward, potentially.
Yeah, really interested. Obviously, he was able to pass Brandon Proudfoot for the 5th position. Then he kind of got that 4th spot as well. So a really good job on his part. You see Lon Franks puts his foot on the loud pedal. Rockets down towards 1 and 2.
Rockets down, and Hargraves barely able to slide his way in there. A lot of contact between Davis and Hunter Hill there is now. Here comes the slide job for Hargraves. He's going to try to throw it in front of Lon Franks. Lon Franks wise to it. A little bit of contact there between Hargraves and Menda. Menda all kinds of squirrely.
Yeah, at that point, Menda was so sideways, he just committed to the slide job. Over-rotates the car, though. There's a caution. Unfortunately, Menda just got a little bit too perpendicular to the way that iRacing thinks these cars should be going, and you kind of saw it there on the camera. So very, very sideways on a Menda, triggers the caution. Pride didn't need one. He was going to get the car off, straightened up there, but, just one of those things that iRacing has.
Yeah, indeed it is. So what that is going to do is that'll put Menda far down the order here, I believe, waiting to see where he's going to cycle back. But I do believe that means Hunter Hill is now going to be starting off in P3 with Davis to his outside in P4.
Yeah, I do believe you're correct, DJ. And what a slide job, though, out of Hargraves. Lon Franks, a veteran move, able to kind of see that coming and steer the car down just in order to pull that crossover down the next straightaway and do the another slide job. So good on his part. Jason Menda, though, just a unfortunate bystander there, kind of looking to the inside of Hargraves, and William just kind of jerked his car down the track by just a couple inches and then kind of just demon dragged Menda.
Indeed, as we get going here, I'm not sure if we're going to get back under green or not. It is a green flag as Lon Franks gets a good start. Hargraves trying to pressure behind. He's going to find that area to slot in. Proudfoot trying to look and maybe go 3 wide between Davis and Hill. Wow! Big slider coming down the middle for that's Dan Stifler with the aggressive move.
Yeah, usually we see moves like that out of the guy at the center of your screen right now. Chris Davis is, hold on, that's William Hargraves. Huge deficit back to Lon Franks. We're going to have to see what happened there as there's another caution out.
And I'm not sure exactly who caused this one necessarily, but yeah, we have got to be talking about that slide job. Dan Stifler, I said he's kind of been sneaking around in that top 5 of points, and he is proving why here tonight.
Yeah, certainly, DJ. William Hargraves, I think he just got a little bit into, out of turns 3 and 4, a little bit too hard there, got himself in the wall. It is kind of a weird transition there from turn 4 to the front stretch, so he just kind of hit that wall, went a little bit wide and forced a check up. Fortunately for him, though, the caution came out almost immediately. Hopefully he can keep clearing himself back up behind Lon Franks, but he's got to watch out. Hunter Hill's been really good on the restart so far.
Yes, he has, and we've got one more lap of caution. This tight little bull ring proving a little bit tricky for drivers to either get themselves sorted back around on. But yeah, I've got to be a little bit scared there. Hunter Hill starting on that outside lane. Let's see. Staying under yellow for one more lap. Yes, indeed, we are.
Yeah, basically, with how many cars are out on this track and how little pace laps there are, we just need that extra 1 lap to go ahead and bunch the entire field back up. Otherwise, the leaders can complete halfway around this thing, and then they'll start catching lap down cars way faster than they should. So these guys just kind of checking up a little bit early, letting the pace cars stay out in front to help those slower cars catch up to the back of the pack.
And here comes Lon Franks. There! He's on it as he gets going. Hargraves able to slot in behind Chris Davis, trying to work down on Hunter Hill to get that low line working. A little bit of contact there in the back. That was Dan Stifler. Brandon Proudfoot trying to get a few things working as well. Looking back through the field, it looks like we are relatively clean as they work their way through 3 and 4. A couple of drivers experimenting down low to see if there's anything to be had.
Yeah, Proudfoot goes around the outside of Dan Stifler there. Stifler with a pretty hard contact into the back of Hunter Hill. It's Brandon Proudfoot, huge sideways offside. We got a car wrecking out of turn 4. That is Brendan Myers. I feel like there's just an accordion effect there, and Brendan couldn't quite get the car slowed down enough.
And it looks like the 45 is involved in that, as well as is Neville Alf. We'll take a look at the replay here. Just a bit of an accordion here around this short circuit. This is John Wilson that we're watching right there. You see Myers get switched around. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was the 720 there of Jackie Whaley going for a ride up and over the roof.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster-esque. You see Brandon Proudfoot right here. He did get a little bit sideways, made some contact there with Dan Stifler. Was not the cause for caution. Both those guys kept it clean and green there for a while. Unfortunately, Brandon Myers just kind of swapped ends there coming off of turn 4. But back behind the iRacing pace truck here for another couple laps, giving the rest of the field some time to just, pack up, bunch up before we go back to green here.
Indeed, about a third of the way done here with this race. And yeah, this is big. Brandon Proudfoot all the way back down in the order here, starting in what will look like 5th place position. He needs to try to close up a little bit more on the back of Hargraves, otherwise he will lose the championship lead. But that is still plenty of time for him to do it. Field nice and easily formed up here. Hargraves down to the inside. Frank's going to try to get on it early, and he does again. Looks a little sideways there for Hargraves, but that's the better start that we've seen him have. He's going to look down for a slider down to the inside. Is he going to be able to get it thrown? I think he almost is. Hargraves is now going to have to dive it again. Proudfoot involved in some action there, and we've got another yellow.
Yeah, I feel like the big winner there was Hargraves. It's really unfortunate, though, for Hargraves. He wasn't the leader at the time of the iRacing caution, but luckily for him, he was able to retain second there. He's got to be really careful when he does moves like that, just to make sure that Hunter Hill, now was Chris Davis before, does not slap back up to his outside. He was going to be in real big trouble there if he couldn't slap back up in front of Chris Davis, then to be forced to get freight trained like we saw Brandon Proudfoot do for a while, and continue to do. He just keeps bleeding spots here. He's doing his best to kind of stay in line the way he is, but obviously forgetting the number 1 rule of a certain line dominant short track: always pass 2 cars at a time.
Exactly, and I would not be surprised here if we see maybe a switch over to single file. No, they're going to go back double file. I believe everything's going to be sorted here to be able to go back under green. Lon Franks again leading from William Hargraves. Field brings around here. Franks waiting, and he is going to get on the loud pedal. A little bit of a squirrely run, not nearly as good of a start there for Hargraves. He immediately has to go off and cover Chris Davis. Hunter Hill going to be down to the low side there. Proudfoot super low, trying to go 3 wide through 1 and 2. Proudfoot's got to check himself up a little bit as he dives it down to that low line yet again.
Yeah, Proudfoot's doing everything he can to try and make up positions. Unfortunately, though, he's going to have to be relegated to at least 5th. Now it's going to be 6th position if Dan Stifler gets to his outside. At that point, he either has to stop the bleeding. Oh, we have another caution, DJ.
Yes, we do. I believe that is Jeffrey Harden. A little bit of a coming together here in the back. You can see just a little bit of ping pong being played.
Yeah, 3 cars don't really go into 2 wide there. You see Sean Hayes making contact with the driver to his outside. Once he ping-pong off them, there was just nowhere for Jeffrey to go.
And in Austin, we're really seeing some of the troubles here that you have when you've got a single-line dominant track. It's just becoming more and more difficult to pass, and drivers getting a little over-anxious to get those moves done.
Yeah, it's basically just sticking your nose in probably some cases where it shouldn't be, and sometimes you do have the line, but the guy in front of you gets checked up for some reason that it isn't his fault, and he, obviously he didn't make the mistake to let you get the run on him to his outside, so he goes, I don't think you're sticking your nose there, buddy. He takes the line away from you, and then it's just a giant accordion effect, so we're going back to green, though.
Yes, we are. Lon Franks to the outside. He gets on the loud pedal there. Oh, that's a great start from Hunter Hill. He's going to start to challenge William Hargraves as they go in. Hargraves forced to go very low and defensive to try to get that slider line there, but I'm not sure he's going to have it. And indeed, Hunter Hill is going to have a nose ahead as they dive into 3.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact there down the backstretch. I don't know who got into it, but Daniel Stifler was into the outside wall. They're still getting together. I think that's the Davis and Stifler, J.R. Shepard, Brandon Proudfoot now clear single file. Proudfoot now into 4th position. Critical for him in order to remain up top if we do have more restarts.
A couple of cars a little bit squirrely there in the back. You heard a big breathe of the throttle there from William Hargraves as he just tries to hold on to it. A couple of cars a little bit sideways, so they're going to be able to catch it and get it around. We've got a big coming together in the back, and that's going to bring out the caution. I believe that is Myers around.
Yeah, we'll get a look at the cost for caution here. Looks like Brennan just gets a little bit of contact from a driver to his outside if he doesn't loop it here. Saw the end of the side of the corner. Yeah, that's just Jason Best. I think he over-rotated in the center of the corner, and then once at that point you're a passenger. You can't really save the car. You just shoot down the track, and there's no way for Brennan to kind of avert his course at that point. You know, we're on dirt. You can't really turn or stop the car on a dime.
Indeed, you cannot, as Lon Franks here will be back into the lead once again, but he's going to have a new contender to his inside, the number 12 of Hunter Hill. Hargraves will now be starting on that preferred high line. 1 to go if everything goes according to plan, although the field does look a little bit separated out. Race control may opt to keep one more lap out here, but I'm not sure if they will or not. It looks like we are going to go green. Frank's starting to get a little bit of an advantage there, and there he goes. It's a big, big start. Proudfoot able to move his way forward. This is going to be a big move for him. He is up to the outside. And here they go. Oh, big slide job there from Hargraves. He chucks it in to try to hold on to 3rd. Chris Davis able to fight back on him. Hunter Hill sliding back down through the field. It is now Proudfoot into 2nd. Contact there, it looked like, between Chris Davis and William Hargraves as they go side by side down into turn 3. Going now around is Chris Davis. Here they go, trying to get it around Hargraves, trying to get it back in. Hargraves, big contact with Chris Davis, trying to get it around here. And now it's going to be Hargraves secure into that 3rd place position. Behind him, Chris Davis, Hunter Hill, and J.R. Shepard moving way up through the field, doing a great job to continue to go as we work lap 25 here. Shepard working down on that low side. Here comes Hunter Hill trying to see if there's anything to be had on Chris Davis. Ice-T Steven Speeds working on the low side down in there. J.R. Shepard trying to slot his way back in behind. We ride on board with the 7th place machine of Sean Hayes. That is the 47 of Jason Best directly behind him. Remember, this is very impressive from Sean Hayes as he had to start from the back of the field with that EOL penalty. Continuing to work their way around as they go. Staying green here. There comes Hayes, working his way down to the inside, throwing a big slider as they come around. Is he going to be able to get by the 47? No, but a caution flag will be thrown. Caution out here on track. It looks like the Australian-New Zealand driver of Neville Ulf partially responsible here. That's going to be contact with John Wilson, and Ulf coming off the worse for wear there as they come around. All right, so that was one of the longer stretches of green flag running that we have had. The biggest takeaway from that is that Lon Franks is able to hold on to the lead. Brandon Proudfoot directly behind him, though. Could Proudfoot sneak a victory here away? This could be interesting, but Hargraves now is going to be in a good position. He'll be starting to the outside, Chris Davis to his inside. This will be a double file restart here, remember, as we still have time left before 10 laps to go. The field starts to form up, waiting to see if they will go green here. I believe we will. Lon Franks waiting to get on the live pedal, trying to get the jump on Proudfoot. There he goes, and that's a very aggressive start from William Hargraves. Hargraves all the way down to the inside, trying to fight. He knows the title is at stake here if he tries to make this move. going for that slide job, but it's not going to work. He's going to have to slot his way back into third. Lon Franks continuing to lead. Hargraves trying to defend from Chris Davis, but he's going to get swallowed up. Contact there in the back. I believe that was Sean Hayes that he got into the back of, and Chris Davis able to sneak on by. Lon Franks continuing to lead as we work under 10 laps to go. It looks like William Hargraves not able to get by Chris Davis at all, and these top two starting to streak away here as they go, as a yellow flag is again thrown in the air. Yellow flag out. We go back to check out the replay again. The Australian-New Zealander here of Neville Olf having some problems as they work their way around. Oh, Brennan Myers and Austin, it looked like he just came right into the side of him. All right, as we're going to continue to keep working our way around here, this will be a single file restart as they get going. That will be crucial because it's going to know when it is going to be harder and harder for some of these leading drivers to pass. Should have 1 lap to go under yellow here, waiting for those iRacing paint struck lights to go off. There they go. Here comes Lon Franks. He's only got 9 more laps to try to hold off the winningest driver in the history of the Bootleg Racing League, Brandon Proudfoot. Here he goes, working their way around. Lon Franks on the loud pedal there, and Proudfoot looking a little bit squirrely off of the exit. Davis trying to challenge behind to the best of his abilities. They all go up to the high line here as they work their way around. Single file restart, making sure the field is a little bit more spread out. Proudfoot carrying more speed through the mid-corner here. He continues to go, trying to get onto the back of Lon Franks. Franks able to keep that high line, working to perfection. Millimeters off of the wall. Oh, but here comes Proudfoot. Is this a slide job from the 22? Indeed it is. He chucks it down low. Franks sees it coming.
Oh, he was really close there. Really close to pulling off. Huge crossover, though, for Lon Franks.
Massive crossover for Lon Franks. He is able to hold off to that position as Austin, we work our way around here with 6 laps to go, but Franks has got to be feeling the pressure.
Certainly is, but I think Brandon Proudfoot is too. You saw just how sideways he was in turns 1 and 2 that time after failing to pull the slide job there for a quick second. You look at William Hargraves, he's having a battle with Sean Hayes and Chris Davis right now too.
Yes, he is trying to throw that slider up to get back. Ooh, a little bit of contact.
Oh, he was in the wall there.
Yes, he was, but he's going to be able to hold on to that 4th place position as we continue to follow here your leader, Lon Franks, as he works his way around right now. Proudfoot in the 22 trying to close down. Only 4 laps to go here at Fairbury.
Yeah, pay window's about to open. This is when all the money gets put out. Proudfoot knows that. So does Lon Franks. We're approaching 2 laps to go here.
Oh my goodness, and a big kerfluffle in the back. I think Hargraves has got some serious damage. He does.
Oh yeah, he's dropping down the order fast. Yeah,
and
so was Hayes too. Wow, that was a killer of a night for Hargraves there. He's going to drop a lot in the points. We're at caution out on the racetrack though. I think we're going to finish. It should be a 1-lap shootout here.
I believe we will go green-white checker here. Let's watch this incident. Hargraves' steering looked a little bit cockeyed as he came in. He collects hill, speeds, and up into the wall there in the 13 as well. A lot of drivers caught out. Oh my goodness. So this is going to put Lon Franks still in the lead, Proudfoot behind him, and Chris Davis up into P3 right now.
Yeah, huge run for Davis here today, and this battle between these two heavyweight fighters has been impressive all night long.
It certainly has. Looking at the lights of the iRacing pace truck, I do believe they are off. So yeah, this is going to be a 1-lap shootout here. We will restart on lap 40. This is it for all the marbles. Lon Franks has to nail this restart. He looks good off the get-go. Nice and spaced out up front. Franks, Proudfoot, Davis as they cross the line here. 2 laps to go, excuse me. It is a true green-white checker scenario. Here they go. Lon Franks looking relatively firm up front. That's gonna be Sean Hayes chucking it down to the inside, trying to get a slide job on Davis. Davis gets turned by Franks. That's gonna allow for Jason Best to come on through. Best is up into P3, but up front, here comes the final slide job. Brandon Proudfoot at the last minute He's not able to get it, Lord. Franks will take victory. It's Franks, Proudfoot, and Best, and J.R. Shepard all the way up into 4th.
Yeah, that was a huge incident there to go ahead and just remove Chris Davis from the entire equation, and Sean Hayes as well. Those two getting together off turn 4 on the white flag lap. So how about the run from J.R. Shepard, though, in the right place at the right time, and Jason Best just slotting in right where he needed to.
Oh my goodness gracious, Austin, I need oxygen after that. Let us run you through these final finishing orders here to a crazy race out of Fairbury. Lon Franks able to take victory from Brandon Proudfoot and Jason Best, rounding out your podium. J.R. Shepard and Jackie Whaley both up multiple positions to round out your top 5. Steven Spees was 6th. Whaley, by the way, you are tied for biggest mover on the day. Hunter Hill was 7th, followed by Jeffrey Harden and Neville Ulf. John Wilson rounds out your top 10, also up 13.
Ryan Seneker comes home in 11th, followed by Bobby Hayes in 12th. Chris Davis, the Mr. Aggressive, comes home 13th, followed by Sean Hayes in 14th after that last lap incident. Stacy Hunter finishes 15th with Matt Shanoski doing a great job getting 16th. William Hargraves 17th after that huge issue and then disconnection from the server. Brennan Myers finishes in 18th with Dan Stifler in 19th. Jason Menda rounds out your top 20 with Chris Hill 21st and Kevin Moody rounding out your field.
Austin, that race was fast and furious, exactly the kind of thing you expect here around Fairbury. And I've got to say, this may be one of the more crucial races that we've seen in the course of the championship, as Hargraves suffering a big defeat.
Yeah, DJ, just as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, you know, how the two drivers just couldn't get away from one another. We saw it tonight. Proudfoot was able to get away from Hargraves, and what a move out of him, especially Burns if you're Hargraves right now. You know, he was P2 all night long. He was there when it counted. Fortunately for him, Lon Franks got around him, really just controlled the race at that point. Extremely hard to pass here. He did a great job just managing that gap and knowing every time someone pulled a slide job, he had to get back to the outside of him, even if it was a crossover. Brandon Proudfoot really showing why you never give up. And insane with third place, though. I mean, these guys doing an immaculate job here tonight.
They did. And speaking of Mr. Proudfoot, we are happy enough to be joined by him in the booth. Brandon, looked like a pretty scrappy race out there, but able to walk away with the P2.
And I'm completely okay with that.
I mean, you started a little bit farther down in the order, but it really seemed like you had to get your elbows out, as that top lane was the only way to get speed.
Yeah, you either had to get your elbows out or try to squeeze into some holes that were there. I think I got into I got into one person getting up there, but yeah, getting up top was really tough. There were a few drivers out there that kept trying to get up but couldn't, and it was the margin for error and the window for that to open are both very slim. You see that tonight with the caution counts.
Exactly. Well, we head to a little bit of a similar place, but a little bit more banking maybe in Lanier next time out. How do you think that's going to go? Is that a track that's going to favor you, and do you think you'll be able to extend that championship lead?
I think it's going to play out a little similar how it did tonight, except with a little bit less chaos. Lanier, traditionally for us, granted with the higher car counts we've been having, the top might actually come in at Lanier, but in previous instances here at Bootleg, it's mainly around the bottom. Guys like J.R. Shepard, William, Billy. I imagine Lon's going to be great there as well. There's a lot of drivers that can keep it straight in the slick and keep their speed. And previous season, I tried to go to the top, and it bit me hard. I didn't even make the podium. So it's going to be a little bit of a gamble whether people will possibly go to the top and burn their tires off, because if it goes back to the bottom, you're not going to have the tire to compete with those guys, even if you race your best.
All right. Well, we're going to have to see how that pans out one way or the other. I know I'm looking forward to it. I always love watching you guys at Lanier. But, Brandon, you know the drill. Anybody you want to thank for the second place here today?
course, fistful of bourbon. Winners get whiskey. Winners get whiskey. I haven't started yet. Congrats on the win there, Lolan. Real rough track tonight, and obviously real rough with the restarts. Good job. General Tire, Vision Wheel, Next Level Racing, Sans Racing Fabrication, Yes 2 Motorsports, Lolan, all the guys that do stuff in the background. Replay reviews, keeping the socials up. All the guys that also share stuff on the Facebook. Real appreciate you guys. You're definitely attributing to that car count that we keep seeing so dearly. You guys here at Virtual Grip Network for doing the broadcast, keeping us on those socials looking pretty. Fiance and family roots me on, and anybody else that does so. Thanks, guys. On to next week.
On to next week, indeed. Thank you. That was Brandon Proudfoot, your second place finisher. And now, Austin, I believe you've caught up with our winner, Lon Franks.
I think I have. Hey, Lon, great job today. Congratulations. You really just did everything you needed to do in order to bring it home in P1.
Yeah, I was trying my best. I was a little nervous every time I had a restart there. There was a lot of cautions.
For sure. What does that do to your psyche, you know, every time you do get a good jump and you kind of gap the person behind you, they kind of fight back for a little bit, then as soon as you kind of single filed out, bam, there's another caution.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. The problem is you want the top, and you get the choice in this league, but it's hard to control the actual restart from the top. So I was just waiting. I knew every time we went green, he had at least one shot, if not two, to pull slider, which he did once or twice. But I was just just hoping and praying.
For sure. Well, Lon, we always like to give you guys a chance. Who do you want to give a shout out to for helping you put this number 58 in victory lane?
My teammate, my team JRE, the boys over there helped me out practicing and all that. Evil One Graphics for the wrap. You guys for streaming it. The guys putting the race on gives us a place to race. Appreciate that. And then friends and family for watching. So glad I get a chance to talk to you. Racing was good when it was green. I enjoyed it.
For sure. Well, we appreciate you for taking the time to talk to us. That was your winner, Lon Franks. I believe DJ, though, has caught up with your third place finisher, Jason Best.
I have indeed. Jason, a fight through the field on a tricky track. A podium has got to feel great. Jason, you got a copy? All right. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have our third place finisher here, Jason Best. Shame there, as that was a great run for him. But that's unfortunately going to about wrap things up for us here on the Virtual Grip Network. On behalf of Austin Belkey, Mike Yao, and the rest of us here at BGN, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at the virtual Fairbury Speedway. Next race for this series, that will be next Friday, February 26th, live from Lanier at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Next broadcast on the channel will be tomorrow night, February 19th, as the Grand National Series also heads to Lanier, and that'll be at 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be back for those races at Lanier. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network, and until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.